Hi everyone, my name is Jeff here again, and welcome to Big Dealio. Today we're going to continue talking about personal finance, especially how to use different tools online to screen stocks, to research stocks, and to understand the basic financials a company has. I'm first going to dive in and talk about Yahoo Finance. So we're going to click over and go to Yahoo Finance. So we've visited yahoo.com. We're simply going to click on finance here, and this is going to bring us to the Yahoo Finance. So Yahoo Finance has some a free edition and a premium edition. So if you're basically looking for what the stock price of something is, some basic news, maybe some basic forecasts, this is the place to go, or at least start your search. So we're going to pick on Amazon, so as it's one of the trending topics of the day, and Amazon had their earnings announcement today. So up here, we can click up here and type in a ticker. AMZN is the Amazon ticker. So across here, you'll see what the closing price is at close. So typical U.S. market opens up at 9:30 a.m. and closes at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and that's typically Monday through Friday. So over here, you'll see after hours. So after hours at 7:59 p.m. Eastern. So typical after hours for an exchange that runs after hours, you're looking at between like 4 a.m. and 8 p.m. So trading time is 9:30 to 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and after hours you have pre-market, which is typically 4 a.m. to up until 9:30 a.m. and then 4 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. You can trade in certain markets after hours, so you'll see the price at close and the price at after hours. So that's the previous close of the previous day, and then we can look at the opening price. So remember how I said there is a gap between close and open, so you can see there was a gap in between here. Bid and ask. So a bid price, so if we think about, you go to an auction, all right? So at an auction, you're making, a person in the crowd is making a bid, the auctioneer is asking for a price. So a bidder, or a bid price, is how much a buyer is willing to buy shares at. An ask price is how much the seller is willing to sell you those shares, at what price. So typically we'll see the bid price always be below the ask price unless something very drastic and special is happening. So day range is basically the intraday range, so where the basic high and low of the day. 52-week range is within the last 52 weeks. What was the range? So if we actually look over here on the one-year chart, like March 2020, we probably hit one of our lows here, and around August 24th we hit one of our, or we were close to hitting one of our highs. Volume tells you how many transactions of shares are going on, so how many shares were exchanged during that day or trading. Market cap is capitalization of the company, and so basically what it is worth. Beta, so 5-year monthly. So a beta value over 1 means it, well, let me restate that here. So a beta value of 1 indicates that whatever the market is doing, going up, going down, whatever the movement of the market, that stock typically moves with the market. All right, and so the beta over 1 means it has more volatility than in the market, and then under 1 means that the volatility is typically lower than the market. PE ratio, EPS, we can dive into that later on a different video. Earnings date. So each company has to announce earnings. So you can see here their next earnings date is April 28th through May 3rd. So that's when they think that they're going to make earnings. Dividends. This company does not do any dividends. And here is the 1-year target estimate for the price of this company. This is just a standard chart. We can dive into charts later on, but we can click one day so you can see the intraday. So this is going to be at 9:30 in the morning going to 4 p.m. and 5-day, you'll see that this is 9:30 in the morning going to 4, and then the following day, so on and so forth. So we can click through here. YTD is year to date, and these lines under here indicate, I believe, volume. Yes, volume of transactions, and then maximum. So we can click on this guy here, and we can change the chart type. So right now we're kind of a red-green area. Some advanced traders like to use candles, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Lines, area, so on and so forth. Yahoo also has a nice feature to show you bullish patterns. So there's theories behind chart patterns, and what chart patterns allow you to do is see kind of commonalities of things that are going on in the chart. So if you see a certain trend happening in the chart, it could allude to something like a bullish or a bearish pattern. So what is bull and what is bear? So a bull, the easiest way to think about this is a bull has horns, and a bull uses its horns to poke up. So bull means that it's a bullish market, meaning that the sentiment is that the stock price is going to go up. A bear, on the other hand, uses its paws, and it pushes down. It lifts up and pushes down. So a bear market means that the sentiment is that the price is going to go down. So bullish pattern detected, and they also have a performance outlook using some of their analytics here to kind of indicate some predicted performance. So short-term, mid-term, and long-term. They'll tell you if their chart events and their data indicates that it has a good short-term, mid-term, or long-term outlook, which the stock does. Down below here, we have some basic news, and as of today, Jeff Bezos has announced that he is stepping down, and so we can scroll through here and find some basic news. Over on the right-hand side here, this indicates what other stocks people in Yahoo are watching. So these are typical, of this Amazon type category: Facebook, Apple, Google, Tesla, and Netflix. Their earnings and their consensus. So this earnings is earnings per share. So for every share that's outstanding, or every share out there, what their earnings are per individual share. Their financial data, recommendation trends. So what you'll have is analysts make different recommendations, like buy or sell or hold, or whatever they believe the stock is going for. Recommendation ratings. So it has a pretty good moderate buy to kind of weak, strong buy. Analyst price targets. So this is kind of interesting. So it's currently trading at 3,380, and as we saw up earlier on in the chart here, that the price target is 3,831. So if you go back up here, 3,831. All right. And upgrades and downgrades. So analysts will, from these different companies here, Credit Suisse and Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, these are analysts, and they follow the stock, and they generally make upgrades or downgrades for their what they're targeting the stock at. Basic company profile information here, generally what they do. And then another interesting area of this, and this is a premium feature which they've kind of allowed you to see here, kind of the overall Amazon versus sector. So covering innovation, hiring, sustainability, insider sentiment, earnings, and dividends. So you can see here kind of what the sector is at and what Amazon's at. So innovation, hiring, and sustainability is a very good target there. And whereas maybe dividends is lower and insider sentiment is lower. So popping back up here, we can click on Company Outlook. It's going to try to sell us a premium version of here, but we're going to go over to what everybody likes to see is charts. And let's talk about some basic indicators here, and generally how to begin looking at this. So look at indicators here. You'll see moving average envelope, Bollinger Bands, RSI, and MACD. So typically what I do when I come in here is I open up RSI, and we will click on save here. And basically this tells you RSI is what they refer to as relative strength. And you can see here, looking at a 6 month, you can see here it's generally hovering around in the 60. But if we go to an intraday trading here, you'll see some dips here, and you'll see it get very close to 20 or 30. I believe when I set this indicator up, we set it to be oversold was 20. We're going to make it 30. There you go. And you'll see, so what's expected to happen is when the price, or when the RSI dips down to 30, typically you'll see an uptrend. This might not be the best chart to show you. We'll open up this one here. And we'll go into a daily here. There we go. So right here, we see that around 20. So you can see how the price dropped. All right. And you can see the RSI was at 21. And that meant that from the RSI calculation that it was oversold. So if you are making decisions or looking at good entry points, this may be a good entry point for you when you're targeting a specific company. So on the other hand, if we look over here where this kind of peaks, the RSI is at 69, so we're getting very close to that 80 point there. Actually zoom out here, see if we can get something kind of greater. So 70, 78. So you can see there is some commonality between the fluctuations of the highs and lows and the RSI. And typically RSI is a good indicator of generally where things kind of stand in terms of the current price, and if the previous trends have indicated that the stock is either overbought or oversold. Conversations is pretty much hit or miss. We'll go back to Amazon. And you can see people can post their comments here, have conversations back and forth. It's pretty much like a message board. But again, these are people's opinions. Statistics show you all evaluation measures and their financial valuation. Historical data, this is kind of neat. You can come in here, you can do a year to date, show you prices or stock splits or historical prices, frequency of the data. You can actually download and open this up in Excel and do any other type of data view that you want. Company profile, so this is who your key executives are, their pay, and what year they were born. Financial data, as we said, so we have our income. There were 3 statements here. So our income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. And as part of my series here, we'll go through each one of these and pull out what are the key things out of each statement. So income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. And again, they have capability here to do annual, quarterly. And then here's some analysis of what is going on, earnings history, EPS trend. So I'll tell you some basic analyses. Options. So these are stock options. Holders. So these are the amount of shares that are held by the insiders, the people inside the company. This percentage of shares held by institutions. Percentage of the float held by the institutions, and the number of institutions holding shares. And you can see here the top institutional holders, number of shares, and their value. Mutual funds are also on here. Sustainability. So this has to get within kind of the environmental, social, and governance. So they've applied a rating to this, and we'll cover this a little bit later. But I hope this has been just an introductory primer for you on Yahoo Finance. Stay tuned to some other videos I am working on using other analytics tools. So we'll cover things like FinViz, TradingView, and some of the other packages online